Have you ever been there, standing in a room, maybe at a party, maybe just with a colleague, and it hits you, that awkward silence?
Yeah, it just sort of descends.
Right, and you want to connect, you genuinely want to engage, but the words, they just feel kind of stuck, or the conversation just fizzles.
It happens to everyone, I think.
Exactly, but what if those moments, those uncomfortable bits, could actually become like effortless ways to make a real connection?
Well, that's precisely the promise, isn't it? That struggle is universal, and it's what our deep dive is all about today. We're digging into a guide designed for exactly that. How to talk to anyone about anything.
That's the one by James W. Williams. The full title is quite a mouthful. Improve your social skills, master small talk, connect effortlessly, and make real friends.
Yeah, it certainly sets a high bar. It's the first book in his communication skills training series.
And it seems like it's aiming to be more than just, theory. It really promises practical tools to handle those tricky social moments, build actual meaningful relationships,
and become someone people genuinely enjoy talking to. It's about letting your sort of authentic self shine through in conversations.
Okay, before we jump right into the deep end on this one, just a quick reminder for everyone listening.
Yes. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and maybe give this video a like if you're enjoying this. We're the Deep Seek Diaries.
You can find us on all the usual places: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We've put links to everything we're talking about today, the book, any other resources down in the description.
Absolutely. And please do glance over our terms and conditions when you get a chance.
Right. Okay, let's get back into it. So our mission today really is to cut through everything in this guide and pull out the most important bits, the actionable stuff.
Kind of a shortcut, yeah, to understanding what really helps improve those social skills, starting right from the basics.
Exactly. So let's talk about the author, James W. Williams. What makes him qualified to write this?
Well, what's compelling is his own story. He's quite open about it. He wasn't, born a smooth talker. Apparently, he really grappled with shyness, quite intense social anxiety.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he writes from a place of having lived that transformation himself. He talks about committing to figuring out the psychology behind connection and then, crucially, actually putting it into practice.
That makes a difference, doesn't it? Knowing he's been through it. It's not just academic theory then.
Right. And he combines that personal journey with science-backed research.
Yeah.
That's why he's seen as a best-selling author in areas like emotional intelligence and communication. It feels authentic.
It mentions he's also a voracious reader, a surfer, an explorer. Sounds like someone who values experience.
I think it underscores his belief in, continuous learning and growth.
Yeah.
And you can see those principles woven into the advice he gives. He talks about forging successful relationships and creating life brimming with happiness.
Okay, so let's unpack the book itself. What's the core promise? It seems to tackle those big questions head on, right? Like, how do we get past that painful small talk?
Mm-hmm. And how do we tell stories that actually, land, that people remember?
And maybe the biggest one. How do we confidently make new friends? Turn those brief chats into something more lasting. Williams seems to position this book as the complete guide for all that.
It really tries to provide a system. Let's take confidence, for example.
Right.
He doesn't just say, be more confident. We all know that's easier said than done.
Right. How do you do it?
Well, he introduces concepts like postural power. It sounds simple, maybe, but it's about intentionally adopting confident body language. Yeah. Shoulders back, chest open, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And he explains that this isn't just about looking confident to others. There's research suggesting it can actually trigger a physiological shift inside you. It can make you feel calmer, more assertive.
Wow. So body language actually influences how you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It connects back to his main point. Confidence and charisma are skills that can be learned, honed, and practiced. They're not fixed traits.
That's a really hopeful message, actually. It puts the power back in your hands. So confidence is the foundation. Where does he go next?
Well, from there, it's straight into what he calls the absolute cornerstone of great conversation. Listening skills.
Sure.
But not just, passively hearing words.
Right. Active listening.
More than that, even. He talks about reflective listening. So, for instance, if someone says, my day was so frustrating, instead of jumping in with your own bad day story.
Which is what most of us do.
Yeah, totally. Instead, you might say something like, wow, it sounds like you felt really overwhelmed today. You're mirroring back the emotion you heard.
Okay. So you're showing you genuinely get it.
Precisely. It instantly deepens the connection. It's all about listening to understand, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
That simple shift. Yeah, I could see how that would make a huge difference. What about asking questions? That's another place conversations can just die.
Absolutely key. The book gives really clear advice on asking the right kind of questions. Open-ended ones that invite people to share more versus closed questions that just get a yes or no.
So not, did you have a good weekend, but more like, what was the highlight of your weekend?
Exactly like that. And he provides tips specifically for mastering small talk, making those initial interactions less, well, daunting. Icebreakers, ways to smoothly transition from light chat to something a bit deeper.
And storytelling. You mentioned that earlier. That seems like a big focus too.
Definitely. Because a good story can just make a conversation stick, build that instant rapport. He offers techniques to tell, structure, and design amazing stories from your own life.
Is there a formula or?
He actually gives a simple framework called HERO, H-E-R-O.
Hero, okay.
Hook, grab their attention immediately. Emotion, infuse it with real feeling. Resolution, bring it to a clear end. An opportunity, give the listener a chance to connect or take something away from it.
Hook, emotion, resolution, opportunity, hero. That's actually quite useful. Turns a simple anecdote into something more engaging.
Right. And the bigger idea here is that becoming better in one area, like storytelling or listening, has this ripple effect. It improves all your relationships, helps grow your network.
Which ultimately leads to more overall well-being and success. Makes sense.
Yeah, he puts it really well. First, your connection to other people is everything. Your relationships are all determined by your ability to communicate and connect. It really is fundamental.
And the way the book is laid out sounds super practical. It says every chapter is broken down with easy-to-follow stories and information, laced with quick-fire facts and tips you can put into action right now.
That seems to be the goal. Immediate application, not just theory you read and forget.
It even promises instant positive changes from the moment you read the first chapter. That's a bold claim.
It is bold. But what's fascinating, and maybe why it resonates, is that it doesn't just give you ideas, it gives you actual, exercises, actionable steps, things you can try out straight away.
Even if you're usually the person hiding by the snacks at a party. The wallflower.
Yeah. That's the claim. It helps you improve your social skills, master small talk, connect effortlessly, and make real friends wherever, whenever. The emphasis is on doing this stuff, practicing the techniques.
So let's think about our listener. Who is this book really for? It sounds perfect for anyone who genuinely struggles with social anxiety or shyness, right?
Definitely. If social situations feel like a minefield, this seems designed to be a practical map.
But maybe also for people who are okay socially but want to be better, like deepen the connections they already have.
Yeah.
Or be more effective communicators at work.
Absolutely. Enhancing existing relationships, building a stronger network for your career. Anyone aiming for more success and fulfillment through better communication could probably get something out of it. It's fundamentally about building bridges.
Okay, so who wouldn't this be for? Anyone you think might find it less useful?
Well, if you're looking for a really deep academic dive into, say, linguistic theory or the philosophy of communication, this probably isn't it. It's very much practical how to.
Gotcha. And maybe if you're already like a communication superstar?
Maybe. Though, honestly, even then, sometimes a refresher on the basics, the core principles, can be surprisingly helpful. It might just serve as a good reminder.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. What are other people saying? Let's look at the Amazon reviews. It's got a 4.2 out of 5 stars from over 1,200 ratings. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, 4.2 is definitely respectable. And when you break it down, 55% are 5-star, another 25% are 4-star. So overwhelmingly positive feedback.
What are the common themes in those positive reviews? What do people seem to like most?
Well, connecting it back to what we've been discussing, a lot of reviewers praise how practical it is. They love that Williams simplifies things. You see phrases like helpful step-by-step advice and fantastic practical advice repeated quite a bit.
Any specific examples?
Yeah, one Kindle customer said, great book that provides fantastic practical advice, simple explanations, and easy steps to follow to gain confidence and communicate better. Another, Amy, wrote, awesome book with practical advice. I already began to practice the techniques. That really highlights the actionable side.
And what about the readability? Is it easy to get through?
That comes up a lot too. People find it easy to read, easy to follow, digest. Sacker mentioned liking that it's not too lengthy, which they found helpful for this kind of self-help book. It suggests it's designed to be accessible, not intimidating.
Which is key if you're already feeling anxious about the topic.
Exactly. And the crucial thing is, people report seeing actual results, Like Mish, who said, "I've already noticed a few things that I do unconsciously. In changing these bad habits, I've noticed my conversations are more substantial already."
Wow, that's pretty immediate impact.
Right. And Marcus Wynn echoed that. "I now feel inspired and more confident and already seeing benefits from the suggestions and techniques." So for many, it seems to deliver tangible changes. Some even say they'll reread it, like Mark Perry, reading this again and again throughout the years.
Okay, but it can't be all sunshine and rainbows. What about the criticisms? There are always some lower ratings.
True. It's important to have a balanced view. One recurring, though minor, point was about editing. Davey mentioned spelling mistakes, asking how that was acceptable.
Yeah, that can be distracting.
And interestingly, Keen Point had a slightly different view on readability, calling it more of a little book of noteworthy things than an easy-to-read book. That kind of contrasts with the general consensus, but it's a valid perspective.
So some minor editing issues, and maybe the structure didn't click for absolutely everyone.
Pretty much. But when you weigh those against the sheer volume of positive feedback, focusing on practicality and effectiveness, well, the customer reviews seem to strongly align with our assessment. It confirms the book's value for its intended audience.
Okay, just pausing here for a second. I hope you're finding this discussion useful so far. Remember, you can subscribe to the DeepSeek Diaries and like this video if you are.
And don't forget, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, even Twitter now. All the links we've mentioned, including the link to the book itself, are right there in the description section for you.
All right, so thinking bigger picture, where does this book fit? You mentioned it's part of a series.
Yeah, that's right. This raises an important point. How to Talk to Anyone About Anything is actually book 1 of 9 in Williams's Communication Skills Training series.
Okay, so it's positioned as the starting point, the foundation for a broader journey into communication skills.
Exactly. And it definitely sits comfortably within that whole personal development space.
Right. When you look at what else people buy or review after looking at this book on Amazon, it tells a story, doesn't it?
It really does. You see titles like Atomic Habits by James Clear popping up constantly.
Makes sense. Building communication skills requires forming new habits.
Totally. And classics like Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Also things like Stop Overthinking by Nick Trenton.
Which probably resonates with people struggling with social anxiety.
And even The Courage to Be Disliked. It shows this book taps into that core desire for self-improvement, better relationships, and increased personal effectiveness. It's clearly seen as a key resource in that ecosystem.
So wrapping things up then, the main takeaway seems to be that James W. Williams' book, How to Talk to Anyone About Anything, really delivers on its promise of practical, actionable advice.
Yeah, for anyone looking to seriously level up their social skills, get better at small talk, and actually build deeper, more meaningful connections, it seems like a very solid starting point.
It's designed for quick wins, offering concrete techniques you can literally try out today.
And that practical focus is heavily backed up by the positive experiences shared by hundreds of readers online. They're seeing real results.
Okay, I hope you have enjoyed today's deep dive with us here on the DeepSeek Diaries.
Don't forget to check out those resources in the description. The link to the book is right there if you want to explore it further.
And please do hit subscribe and like before you head off, if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Until the next episode, goodbye.
But before you go, here's a final thought to chew on. How are you going to take just one small step based on what we've discussed this week? Maybe it's just focusing on that reflective listening thing in one conversation.
Or asking one open-ended question instead of a closed one.
Yeah. Or maybe even just striking that postural power pose for 30 seconds before you walk into a meeting or a social event. What's the smallest, simplest action you can take right now for an instant? Positive change in how you connect. Think about it.